All right, let's jump right into this explainer. Because if you've been looking into Rast Pre-Rexha University, RRU, and researching their master's programs in international relations and strategic studies, we really need to clear up a massive point of confusion right out of the gate. What looks like this totally straightforward single academic path on paper, it's actually hiding a pretty complex dual reality. So to really understand your options and explain everything in depth today, we absolutely have to unmask what's actually going on behind the naming conventions and the glossy marketing brochures.
To do that, we're going on an investigative deep dive through 5 crucial layers. We're going to hit the twin degree confusion, the reality of hybrid delivery, the faculty data gap, one really critical student review, and finally, realistic career pathways.
Starting us off with Section 1, the twin degree confusion, where we basically have 2 distinct programs living under one umbrella.
Okay, the absolute crucial point here is that you are most likely looking at 2 completely different degrees that are just hiding under the exact same academic umbrella. And honestly, most prospective students don't even realize this distinction exists. First up, we've got the MA in International Relations and Security Studies, or MAIRSS. This one is your traditional, full-time, residential program. It's run by CCODCEL and even includes foreign language specializations. But then compare that to the MA in Defense and Strategic Studies. This is an entirely separate hybrid mode program. I mean, they are structurally different products entirely. One demands full on-campus residential immersion, while the other is built strictly for flexibility.
Now I want you to think about this highly specific number, 6 to 10. For the hybrid MA program, that is the exact number of days per semester you will actually spend on campus. Literally just 6 to 10 days for offline classes, guest lectures, and development sessions. The entire rest of your degree? It's totally online. It's a fundamental structural difference. When you realize that a standard master's semester usually means months of daily on-campus grinding, this number is a huge reality check if you're going in expecting that traditional university life.
Moving right along to Section 2, the reality of hybrid delivery and what it actually means for you.
So let's explore how this very limited campus time translates into a major bureaucratic reality. It is incredibly important to understand how this whole hybrid definition sits within India's higher education framework. Like, yes, UGC-regulated online and hybrid programs are formally recognized, but practically speaking, that heavy reliance on online instruction can actually directly impact your eligibility down the line. Certain government recruitments, and especially full-time doctoral admissions, really look for that strict, regular mode preference. Traditional academia just heavily weighs continuous, on-campus research and faculty face time. They definitely treat hybrid and full-time degrees differently in practice. And just to be super clear, I'm absolutely not criticizing the academic content of the hybrid program here. It's just a vital, practical hurdle you've got to factor into your long-term academic or government plans.
Which brings us to Section 3, the faculty data gap. Welcome to the black hole of information. So, if you're trying to be a diligent student and look up faculty reviews for the MA in Defense and Strategic Studies, you are going to hit a massive, frustrating wall. Here's exactly how this search plays out. Step 1, you search for RRU's specific program. Step 2, you're instantly flooded by results from completely different institutions, like the University of Missouri or Himachal Pradesh University's identically named degrees. Step 3, you might even get diverted to the Australian National University across the globe. I mean, you sit down to research a degree in Gujarat, and suddenly you're reading about a campus in Canberra. It's crazy. This keyword contamination trap is exactly why it is so incredibly difficult to find relevant info.
Because of this huge contamination problem, I just want to be radically transparent with you here. Reliable, program-specific, named faculty info for RRU's MA in Defense and Strategic Studies is completely unavailable in the public domain. Period. We're not going to sit here and manufacture confidence or, paper over this with generic university stats. The data just doesn't exist publicly right now, and it is absolutely vital you know about this honest data gap before making a final enrollment decision.
Let's look at Section 4 now. One critical student review, a dissenting data point.
Since official data is practically a black hole, we have to look really closely at the data points we do actually have. And we found one specific, dated, completely unfiltered first-person account. A student from the MA in Defense and Strategic Studies batch of 2025 described the program flat out as overexpensive and not worth it. Now, we are presenting this exactly as it is. It's just one individual's dissenting 2 out of 5-star account. It's absolutely not a definitive verdict on the entire program. But honestly, it's genuinely useful because it's exactly the kind of raw reality check that polished marketing brochures are never going to show you.
But wait, nuance is totally key here. Listen to how this student's rating actually breaks down.
The very same person who gave the overall program experience a 2 out of 5 went ahead and separately rated the campus physical infrastructure a solid 4 out of 5. I think this brilliantly illustrates that even critical reviews have layers, right? They acknowledge the really strong physical campus, even if their personal academic or financial experience with the hybrid setup felt lacking. It just provides a much more grounded, balanced reality check.
Finally, Section 5, Realistic Career Pathways. Let's unpack the myth versus the reality. Let's talk about what graduates actually do with these degrees. And the absolutely most important rule here is this: do not rely on RRU's general placement averages, period. RRU has heavily tech sector skewed placement data. You've got to completely ignore those generic numbers when you're trying to predict strategic studies outcomes. That data is simply not built around this specific cohort of students, and relying on it is just going to give you a totally false expectation of some guaranteed corporate placement pipeline.
Instead, here are the highly specialized, realistic career pathways you should actually be aiming for. We're talking policy and security-focused think tank research roles. You can absolutely pursue defense journalism or strategic affairs commentary. A lot of folks take the UPSC track civil services route, specifically aiming for roles with a security or foreign policy leaning, like the IFS, IAS postings touching external affairs, or the specialized IDAS. You could even leverage this into corporate risk and geopolitical intelligence advisory work. Or for those aiming at academia, further postgraduate research like an MPhil or PhD. Though remember those hybrid degree practicalities we talked about earlier if you're going that specific route.
So, armed with the hard facts behind the marketing, the final decision ultimately comes down to what structure your career genuinely requires. You now know for sure that these are two completely distinct programs, so look past the similar-sounding names on the brochures and ask yourself, are you looking for that traditional, immersive university experience, or are you just looking for the credential? Will you choose full residential immersion, or is the flexible hybrid track your actual path?